I stood in the cemetery, the wind tugging at my black dress, and noticed the empty space where they should have been. My husband, his parents, absent. My mother's coffin barely settled in the ground, and the silence of their absence hit harder than any grief I had ever felt. "Where are they?" I asked, my voice flat. He looked at me, a rehearsed smile tugging at his lips. "CANCUN," he said, as if reading from a script. "With my parents, celebrating my birthday." I blinked. The coffin, the dirt, the tears, none of it seemed to reach him. My pulse thrummed, not with grief, but with a precise, icy fury. That night I called my father. By morning, their house had become a pile of rubble under the weight of his bulldozer. And the land? Already listed for sale. I watched through discreet channels as the news reached them. My in-laws were furious, screaming, threatening. But he turned pale. I had waited for this exact shade of terror. I remember the day we met. College library. He was charming, witty, tender. He looked at me like I was the only person who mattered. Back then, trust came easy. Love felt safe. I let him in completely, blind to the subtleties of deception. The signs started small. Forgotten anniversaries, business trips that didn't exist, laughter that seemed forced when certain names came up. I noticed, but I stayed calm, observant, calculating. I kept my dignity while gathering pieces of the truth like shards of glass. Then came the proof. A notification on his phone I shouldn't have seen. A message, quick, careless, but enough. Vacation photos of him and another woman. Not just photos, his smug smile caught mid-toast. The betrayal hit like a gunshot to the chest, but I did not fall apart. Not yet. I could feel the pulse of strategy taking over. I made my plan quietly. Financial leverage first. The accounts he boasted about? Frozen. The investments he bragged about? Tied up in legal knots I orchestrated without his knowledge. Every move deliberate. Every action a step toward dismantling the world he had assumed he controlled. Then came the social maneuvering. Friends and colleagues were subtly fed truths he had tried to bury. A whisper here, a carefully timed, "Oops, did you know?" there. Each revelation was a crack in his facade. His reputation, like dry cement, began to crumble. All the while, I maintained the calm exterior he expected. The perfect wife, oblivious. Watching him unravel became a quiet thrill. But I didn't rush. Revenge is a slow, meticulous art. Haste would ruin it. And finally, today. Standing in what was left of my mother's house, facing him as he returned from his vacation, expecting comfort, celebration, loyalty, he did not recognize the woman before him. Not entirely. The air was thick with his confusion, the scent of fear tangling with the faint trace of cologne he thought would protect him. "You know," I said, voice steady, almost serene, "my father was very thorough." His lips parted, a faint stammer escaping before he could regain composure. "They've listed your house for sale. Your parents' property? Gone. And every asset you counted on? Frozen, entangled in legal limbo. Friends know. Business partners know. The secrets you thought were safe?" I let my eyes linger on his, cold, unflinching, exposed. He turned pale, not just white, but drained of arrogance, of entitlement. The man who had celebrated birthdays over my mother's coffin, laughing in the sun, crumbling in seconds. He tried to speak. I waited, smiled faintly. The pause stretched, suffocating him. "No, this can't be," he muttered. "Yes," I said softly. The word felt like a scalpel, clean, precise, final. And I walked away. Left him standing in the ruin of his assumptions, stripped of everything he had taken for granted. My chest felt lighter than it had in years. Not grief, not relief, empowerment, control. Justice served in a way no argument, no confrontation could have achieved. I thought about the past, the love, the trust, the betrayals. I acknowledged the pain, but I let it fuel me. Revenge is an art, not a scream. And I had painted my masterpiece in silence, with patience, and with precision. Now, when I close my eyes, I don't see the empty seats at my mother's funeral. I see the color drain from his face. I hear the quiet panic behind his carefully cultivated mask. And I know, some lessons are unforgettable. Some betrayals are irreversible. And some women, they rise, not with noise, but with the quiet, inevitable certainty that justice, when executed with intelligence and patience, tastes sweeter than any anger ever could.